Newsbrief. Platinum Games. Nier. Automata has officially surpassed 5 million copies shipped and sold digitally. While shipped does not necessarily equate to copies sold. This latest milestone takes an extra million shipped or sold digitally from the physical publisher Square Enix, released little under a year ago. According to the company's past numbers, the early 2017 release Nier Automata shipped 1 million copies in its first month, had 5 million shipped by March 2018, and surpassed 3 million shipped last June. The last year has seen both the release of the X1 version of the game and Nier Automata Game of the Year edition, as well. Launches that seemingly gave the game's sales a gradual boost. There has been some negative sentiment on the games industry recently, with stock prices of public games companies in question in both the United States and China. While being contrarian to market sentiment is always risky, it's also possible that folks might be taking a long-term solution to a short-term problem. DG Capital's Games report forecasts that games industry software hardware combined revenue could drive well over $200 billion revenue by 2023, and tracked a record $5.7 billion investment in games companies in 2018. So what's going on? The games industry is not one monolithic sector. Depending on how you slice it, the market is made up of 15 sectors, 8 platform types, e.g., mobile, PC, console, and even more proprietary hardware software platforms, e.g., iOS, Android, X1, Sony PS4, Nintendo Switch. Games software hardware sector revenue share versus growth, 2018 to 2023. Note: see selected data below. Free charts do not include all the numbers, axes and data from DG Capital's Games report, with underlying data sourced directly from companies and reliable secondary sources. Mobile games rule. We first forecast mobile's dominance of the games market way back in 2011. At that time, many traditional games companies did not believe mobile online games could become the driving force for games. Some of those companies no longer exist. So what's happening today is nothing new. Total global mobile App Store revenues grows across games and non-games apps, including App Store revenue share, topped $100 billion for the first time in 2018. Mobile games delivered around 3/4 of that number, as they have consistently for years. So where mobile games drove over $70 billion gross revenue globally last year, they could top $100 billion revenue, again grows, including App Store revenue share, in their own right in the next 5 years. But like all game sectors, mobile games are hit-driven, and this could be the source of some of the mismatch between the market's understanding of short-term trends and long-term potential. For example, Supercell's Clash of Clans and Clash Royale have delivered over $10 billion revenue to date. However, Supercell also saw revenues and profits decline in 2018 for the second year in a row, as its franchises matured. Yet Supercell's newest franchise, Brawl Stars, delivered $100 million revenue within its first 2 months. Swings and roundabouts. Epic Games had the biggest breakout mobile games hit of 2018, with Fortnite contributing significantly to a reported $3 billion profit in 2018. It also anchored part of the interest behind the record $1.25 billion fundraising round last year. Yet the company removed once dominant mobile franchise Infinity Blade from the App Store, and redirected internal development resources to focus on Fortnite. By closing parent on and stopping further development on Unreal Tournament, we will come back to Fortnite in the context of mobile games becoming platforms in their own right. Perhaps the biggest concern for mobile games after last year is China, in which the regulator ceased approving new games for most of 2018. This weighed particularly heavily on market heavyweights, Tencent and NetEase, although the regulator returned to approving their games this year. However, the regulator again stopped accepting games in February, only to approve more games in March. This regulatory risk has resulted in our downgrading Chinese games revenue growth rates until a clear long-term pattern emerges. Niantic's mobile Smash Pokémon Go took just over 1% of mobile games revenue globally last year, and has been reported to drive some astonishingly big numbers: 800 million downloads, over $2.5 billion lifetime revenue, 147 million mode, 5 million though, 78% users aged 18 to 35, 144 billion steps taken by users, 500 million visits to sponsored locations, and Niantic's valuation of nearly $4 billion. Note: not all of these figures have been confirmed by Niantic. Off the back of this, Niantic is exploring Pokémon Go's potential to become a platform, with Go Snapshot challenging Snapchat, and the Niantic Real World platform, as a serious cloud player. We will come back to this too. PC games hardware software is big too. PC games hardware software is made up of 4 individual sectors, including PC games hardware, gaming computers, upgrades and peripherals, PC games, online, DLC, the app and subscriptions, PC games, the digital sales, and PC games, physical sales. While each subsector has different characteristics, scales and growth rates, together they make up the only part of the market close to mobile games long term. Google's new Stadia cloud gaming platform and competitors could also fundamentally impact high-end gaming across all platforms, not just PC. Mobile games software and PC games hardware software combined could deliver 3/4 of total games industry revenues by 2023. Selected multiplayer PC games. Ex-China. While PC games hardware is massive, users are buying that hardware mainly to play mobile games. This part of the market is consolidated around franchises from major public games publishers, such as Tencent and Activision Blizzard, as well as independents like Wargaming and Bluehole. The console abides. Console games were the market leader for games hardware software for decades, and remain huge despite no longer being an engine of growth. The highest growth here could come from console games, digital sales, and console games, online, with console games hardware and console games, physical sales, both growth long-term. Despite flattish platform growth for console games hardware software, they could still deliver multiple tens of billions of dollars revenue by 2023. High growth from a low base. Of the remaining market sectors, a handful are small today, but have high growth potential long-term. This include VR games, VR hardware, R games and esports. Yet taken individually, each sector is likely to deliver in the 1% to 2% range of total games market revenue in 5 years' time. So great for indie developers, but more challenging commercially for the big guns in terms of scale. United Nations of Games. Geographical games market discussions tend to focus on China and the United States, but there are over 50 country markets driving growth at a global level. scales and growth rates vary dramatically from giant, stable growth countries such as China, even with its current uncertainty, the United States and Japan, to higher growth markets like India and Russia. In aggregate, Asia could take around half of global games market revenue by 2023. Despite short-term concerns about China, Europe might deliver around a quarter of global revenue, followed by North America at around one-fifth in the same time frame. Countries in MEA and Latin America make up the balance at a much lower level. Games country revenue share versus growth. 2018 to 2023. Concentration versus growth. The law of big numbers caught up with the games industry years ago, with the 10 largest publicly listed games companies taking 3/4 of public games company revenues globally. This ratio does not include private games company revenues, which are substantial when you already produce billions to tens of billions of dollars revenue. High growth rates are not easy to come by, as Netflix counterbalance maturing franchises. Public games company revenue share. Note: heat map displays relative revenue scale of publicly listed games companies. Private games company revenues not shown on this chart. Top grossing mobile games of recent years, outside China, often came from independents. Standouts include Supercell, King, Epic Games, Niantic,